COVID tests at Aldi? So I was picking up a few things at the grocery store the other day, you know, some milk, some butter. I was checking out, and right there in front of me, you could also buy COVID tests right at Aldi. So I picked a few up, and I thought, hey, let's unbox it, let's test it out, and do a test of the test. So be sure to stick around. Hey guys, I'm Josiah. On this channel, we are talking about life here in Germany. If that sort of thing is interesting and relevant to you, be sure to subscribe. And of course, always leave a like behind for the video. Today, we are going to be testing the test. Okay, so we have the ASQ.rapid SARS-CoV-2 rapid test. It is a high precision antigen test with result after 15 minutes. It's all in English, but it's a little bit grammatically wrong. It's easy to use, nasal swab in only 2.5 centimeters of depth. So that sounds exciting. They definitely leave the part about the nasal swab till the end. Otherwise you wouldn't read the rest. Okay, so let's, this is a 5-pack. They didn't have the single one, so let's open it up and see what's inside. Okay. I've never done one of the nasal tests. I have had the PCR test, which they just do it in your throat. So not very excited about this. Okay, so we have some different things here. I don't know, I opened it where it opens. There's some more things. Okay, so we have a whole mess of stuff. We have some chemicals in here. Okay, so let's just kind of lay it out. There should be 5 of each and everything. I don't know, 2.5 centimeters in depth? I don't know. I'm gonna measure that. Okay, so then we have some like vials and some more things. And now we have the instructions. So, and I think the box kind of turns into some sort of stand. I'm guessing. I don't know. We'll let us read. These directions say 4 easy steps. The first one is probably the worst part of it, shoving this thing up the nose. I've seen people get this done. I've taken some people to the test center where they do it right in the car, and literally it feels like they're like hitting somebody's brain. And I've always been happy that I've never had to do it. So this says only 2.5 centimeters, and there's on the instructions a little blue circle. I don't know if you can see that. And I measured it, and it is in fact 2.5 centimeters on the directions. And so it says pinch right there. So we're gonna open the swab up, peel here. Okay, it just kind of lays over the picture, original size. So I'm not gonna shove this thing anyway. So it needs to go in and then spun around 5 times in each nose. And then we go to step number 2. Okay, so 2.5 centimeter tief in ein Nasenloch ein. Rollen Sie das Tippstäbchen 5 times. All right. And it has some diagrams. Let's do this. I'm the kind of person who can't even do eye drops myself. Okay, so I did 5 times. I'm halfway done. I wonder if I have to go the same way or counterclockwise. I don't know. It's not in the instructions, so I'm gonna go the same way. I expect. Oof. All right, step number 2. Now we have our little vial, and the box has a little nice little holding stand, so we can just put it right in there. Look at it, kind of fits in. I don't want to put my test thing down, so we're gonna open it. Oh, man, this is really hard to open when you're holding onto the stick. Next time I would have opened this first and put it in there, because I don't want to put this down. I guess I can go with it. Okay. And then we put it in. You move it in, you kind of move it around for 30 to 45 seconds. They also should have told you, like, get your timer out. So I gotta start my timer. Let's go. 45 seconds. Oof, man, my nose is, need a Kleenex. Okay, so it's 40 seconds, and now it says you squeeze it, pull it out. Ugh. You kind of like strain it in there. Okay, now we're gonna close it. Okay, close it down. Okay, so now we need to wait 15 minutes for the test. We'll set it in our little stand here. Okay, we don't wait. Step number 3, we have our little thing here. It's kind of like a pregnancy test. Okay, so we have our little test thing here, you know? So now we give 3 drops on the S. So we need to flip this thing over. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then we wait for 15 minutes to see what our results are gonna be. Okay, 15 minutes have passed, and now it is time for step 4. Let's read the results. Okay, so we have a diagram on this sheet. Okay, so the first one is corona positive. If you test positive, it's 2 lines. You have the control plus the T. So it's basically just like a pregnancy test, 2 lines, you're positive. This one you don't want to celebrate after, but at least the good news is these sorts of tests are going to empower us to be able to read pregnancy tests easier, because I remember the first time I had to read one, I was very confused. I didn't know 1 line, 2 line, what's good, what's bad. Okay, so silver lining in everything. Corona negative, just like the 1 line of a pregnancy test is 1 line, just the control line. And it's next to the C. But if you have 1 line next to the T, this is where I think everyone gets confused. Control C. I think that's English. I don't know what it would be in German, but C is your control. If you have 1 line next to the T, that means your test is bad. And if you have no lines, it means your test is no good. And if you have a no good test, that's terrible English. If your test is not good, I bought a pack of 5, but if you only bought 1, you'd have to go buy a new one, and you don't know if you're COVID positive or not. So that's a bummer. Buy 2. Okay, so for €5 a test, it's pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. It's amazing how far things have come in a little over a year. That a year ago, nobody even was really aware of how to test for COVID. It was impossible. And now you can just go to shops like Aldi, DM, any pharmacy, and just pick up a self-test kit and do it yourself. That is pretty amazing, and I'm sure these things will only continue to get better and better. I'm waiting for like the digital one that just connects to your phone, but up until then we have the simple ones for now. My takeaways: this was my first antigen like nasal test. Did I enjoy it? No. Was it worse than I thought? I'm not excited about doing it again, but I will do it if I have to. Do I want to do this like every day? I would prefer not to, but this creates an amazing way for people to be able to test easily whenever they need to without having to go to a test center and actually pay a bunch more money. In the city where I live, it's free for the people who live here, but for people who come from out of town, they have to pay 50 or 60 euros for probably pretty much the same thing. One thing that I was hoping, maybe it comes in the future, is that with this test, you don't get any sort of documentation. I understand that would be pretty tricky to do, to have like a negative test certificate. As the world begins to travel again and you need to show negative tests before you travel places, hopefully as someone is able to figure this out, that through a home test, you'd be able to somehow have a validated negative test certificate and not have to show up at the airport a few extra hours early in order to get that test from the airport test center, which sometimes costs a lot of money. I know in the States, if you do this, you get tested at the airport, you'll shell out like $300 to $500 just for literally this same thing that I paid €5 for at Aldi. Something's a little bit off there, but enough with that rant. My big hope is that someday these self-tests help us when we begin to travel internationally again, and we can use the results from these self-tests to cross borders. But hopefully that day comes soon, maybe by summer when we're all wanting to go on vacation. There you have it. That is the COVID test I purchased at Aldi. It's not as complicated or difficult to do as one might think. I thought it was going to be worse, but it wasn't. Hey, wherever you are in this world, and as we continue to navigate this COVID pandemic, I pray that you stay healthy and you do well wherever you are. Hey, if today's video has been helpful, of course, please leave a like behind. Be sure to subscribe. We will see you guys on the next one. Until then.